Hi students, this is a video lecture on graphs chapter from data structures. So in this video we will be learning about definition, the basic concepts in graph, how to represent a graph in memory and the two traversal techniques for graphs, depth first search and breadth first search. So the definition of graph, it is a nonlinear data structure consisting of the set V of vertices and the set E of edges. So the edges can be directed or undirected. So this is an example undirected graph. So there are 7 vertices in this graph. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and the edges are represented as an ordered pair A to B, B to C, C to D, C to E, and so on. So a graph is said to be directed if every edge in the graph is directed, and it is undirected if there is no direction for the edges. So a graph is said to be complete if there is an edge between each pair of vertices, and a graph is said to be connected if there is a path between each pair of vertices. So the first graph is a example for digraph because the edges are all directed. There is an edge from 1 to 2, there is an edge from 1 to 4, and there is an edge from 1 to 3. See, I'm saying it as there is an edge from 1 to 3 because the edge is leaving from the vertex 1 and it is reaching 3. Okay. So the second one is said to be a complete graph because when we consider any pair of vertices, there is a edge between both the vertices. If you consider 1 and 2, there is an edge. If you consider 1 and 4, there is a edge. If you consider 1 and 3, there is an edge. In the same way, if you take the vertex 2, there is an edge from 2 to 1, 2 to 3, 2 to 4. So that's the reason it is said to be complete. The last graph is a connected graph. When you consider any two pair of vertices, there is a path between both the vertices. So when we start from 0, it is possible to reach 1, it is possible to reach 2, it is possible to reach 3. In the same way, when you start with the vertex 1, it is possible to reach 2, it is possible to reach 3, it is possible to reach 0. So that's the reason it is called as connected graph. So what is called degree of a node? Degree of a node is nothing but in degree plus out degree. So how to calculate the in degree? The number of edges incident to the vertex is called in degree and the number of edges leaving the vertex is called out degree. So in this example diagram, if we consider the vertex 4, the number of incoming edges are 3 because there is a edge from the vertex 1 to 4, there is an edge from the vertex 2 to 4, there is an edge from the vertex 5 to 4. So that's the reason in degree of vertex 4 is 3. So similarly, out degree of vertex 4 is also 3 because there is an edge from vertex 4 to 3, there is an edge from vertex 4 to 6, and there is an edge from vertex 4 to 7. So degree of vertex 4 is 6. So how to represent a graph in memory? There are two different ways of representing a graph in memory. First representation is sequential representation with the help of adjacency matrix. So adjacency matrix for a graph is a n cross n matrix such that it will be the matrix will be having the elements as 1 or 0. If there is an edge from the vertex vi to vj, then we put the element as 1. If there is no edge, then we put it as 0. Okay, so in this example, the example is an undirected graph. So there are 4 vertices. That's the reason it is a 4 cross 4 matrix. And wherever there is an edge between pair of vertices, we represent it as 1. So there is a edge from the vertex 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4. That's the reason 1 to 2 is 1, 1 to 3 is 1, and 1 to 4 is also 1. Similarly, when you consider the vertex, there is no vertex edge from 1 to 1 itself. That's the reason the diagonal of this matrix is 0. So similarly, there is a vertex from 2 to 1, there is a vertex from 2 to 3, there is a vertex, sorry, there is an edge from 2 to 4. So that's the reason 2 to 1 is 1, 2 to 3 is also 1, 2 to 4 is also 1. In the same way, the rest of the matrix is also filled. So when you consider adjacency matrix for a digraph, even that is a n cross n matrix. N is the number of vertices. So here again it is a 4 cross 4 matrix. Again the diagonal is marked as 0 because there is no edge from the vertex 0 to vertex 0. In the same way, there is no edge from vertex 1 to 1. So how to represent the adjacency matrix for a digraph? So there is a edge from the vertex 0 to 1. That's the reason 0th row first column is 1. Okay, so there is a vertex from, sorry, there is an edge from the vertex 1 to 2. So that's the reason first row number 1, column number 2 is 1. Similarly, there is a edge from the vertex 2 to vertex 3. Go to the row vertex 2 and the column 3 is 1. So in the same way, there is a edge from the vertex 3 to 0, vertex 0. So that's the reason third row and the zeroth column will be marked as 1. Rest of all will be 0. So what is the disadvantage of adjacency matrix? If we have less number of edges, as in the case of digraph, then the adjacency matrix will be sparse. So this example clearly tells what is the disadvantage of adjacency matrix. So there are only 4 edges in this graph, and there are only 4 ones in the matrix also. Rest of all the elements are 0. It's some more or less a sparse matrix. Okay, so and it is also difficult to insert or delete a new node to a graph. So in those cases, we have to modify the complete adjacency matrix. That's the disadvantage of it. So the second way of representing a graph in memory is linked representation. So adjacency list, it is done with the help of adjacency list. It is collection of lists such that each list is used to describe the set of adjacent vertices. So this is an example undirected graph. So where there are 5 vertices, that's the reason there are 5 lists in this adjacency list. One list for each vertex. Okay, and this list is a linked list which will be having the nodes as the adjacent vertices. So the vertex 1 is adjacent to the vertices 2 and 5. So that's the reason 1 is connected to the vertex 2 and 2 is again connected to the vertex 5. So we know the concept of linked list. So this arrow represents, it is pointing to the address of the next node, and this slash represent, this is the last node. Okay, so similarly the vertex 2 is adjacent to all the vertexes. It is adjacent to vertex 1, it is adjacent to vertex 5, it is adjacent to vertex 4, it is adjacent to vertex 3. That's the reason this linked list is having 4 nodes in it. So the nodes 1, 5 and 3 and 4. Okay, and the last node is marked as address of the last node is null. Okay, in the same way, each list will be having the list of all adjacent vertex to that particular vertex. So such a list, such a collection of lists, we are calling it as adjacency list. Okay. So now, what is called traversing a graph? Traversal is nothing but visiting all the vertices of a graph in a particular order. So there are 2 techniques for traversing a graph: depth first search and breadth first search. Okay, so the depth first search uses backtracking technique. So backtracking technique is a very simple technique which we use it in our pathfinding games. So in a pathfinding game, we'll have several paths to reach the destination. So we start with an arbitrary path and we try to reach the destination after several points. Suppose in between, if you are not able to reach the destination, we backtrack to the previous point and we take a different path. So the same technique is used here. That's a meaning of backtracking. So the same technique is used in depth first search also. It starts with an arbitrary vertex. Generally, the starting vertex is given in the question itself. If not, we have to take the alphabetical vertex or least numbered vertex. So we start visiting the starting vertex and we proceed to the unvisited adjacent vertex. Okay, and we continue until we reach a dead end. So dead end is nothing but a vertex that is not having any adjacent unvisited vertex. So the data structure used is stack because last in first out data structure. So the algorithm for DFS is we have to push the starting vertex, and repeatedly we are going to pop the stack until it is becoming empty, and each time after popping we have to include the adjacent unvisited vertex to the stack. So the popping order will give us the DFS traversal. So let us see how to apply this algorithm for a given example. So this is an undirected graph. So the starting vertex is assumed to be A. So initially the stack will be empty. So we are going to push the starting vertex. That's the reason in the step number 1 push A is given in the operation. So the stack is now having the element A. Okay, so we will be traversing an element only when we are popping the stack. So that's the reason here it is dash. So in the second step, the stack is empty because we have popped the stack. So A is added to the traversal. Okay. So whenever we pop an element from the stack, we have to push the adjacent unvisited vertex of the popped vertex. So the popped vertex is A now, which are all the adjacent unvisited vertex of A. A is adjacent to B alone. So that's the reason we are pushing B into the stack. So now stack is having the element B, and we have visited only the vertex A so far. So now in the next step we are popping the stack. So pop B is there. So B is also added to the traversal list. Okay, so in the next step, we have to add the adjacent unvisited vertex of the popped vertex. So B is popped now. So which is the adjacent unvisited vertex of B is C. C is adjacent to B. So C is pushed into the stack. So in the next step, we are popping the vertex C from the stack. So C is added to the traversal. So ABC is traversed so far. So in the next step, we have to push the adjacent unvisited vertex of the vertex C. So C is adjacent to D as well as E. So that's the reason when we are pushing the adjacent vertexes into the stack, it has to be pushed in the alphabetical order or ascending order. So that's the reason D and E are pushed into the stack and D is there in the top of the stack. Okay. So in the next step, we are popping the stack. So D is there in the top. So D will be popped now. The remaining element in the stack is E. So the list of elements traversed so far is A, B, C, D. Okay. So the next step, so E is there in the top. Sorry, yeah, E is already there in the stack. So which are all the adjacent unvisited vertexes of D is E, F and G. So E, F and G are already pushed. So this is the element E which is already there in the stack. E, F, G is pushed now. Okay. So the next step, so we are going to pop the stack now. So the element which is there in the top will be popped. So it is added to the traversal. So A, B, C, D, E is traversed so far. So the next step, what happens? We have to find out which are all the adjacent unvisited vertex of the popped vertex. So E is popped now. So which are all the adjacent unvisited vertex of E is adjacent is C, D and F. C and D is already visited. So only F is unvisited. So F is pushed again into the stack. So F, G, E are already available in the stack. So this F is pushed into the stack now. Okay, so in the next step we are going to pop the stack. So the element which is there in the top will be popped and it is added to the traversal. So now A, B, C, D, E, F is traversed so far. So in the next step we have to find out which are all the adjacent unvisited vertex of the popped vertex F. So for F, only D and E are adjacent. Both the vertices have already been visited. So F is a dead end. So we are going to pop the vertex once again. So when we pop the vertex stack once again F is there in the top. So F will be coming again. But we are not including that in the traversal because F is already visited. Okay. So the remaining elements in the stack is G and E. So now we are again popping the stack because F is a dead end. So when we pop, it is popped from the stack and it is added to the traversal. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G is the traversal list so far. So the stack is left out with the element E. So G is again a dead end because G is having only the adjacent element as D, which is already visited. So G is a dead end. So we are going to pop the stack now. So only E will be there. We are popping E and we are discarding because E is already visited. Okay, so the stack has become empty and we are stopping now. So the DFS traversal for this graph, if the starting vertex is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So the second traversal technique for graph is breadth first search. So it is otherwise called as level order traversal. What is meant by level order traversal? If we assume that in this diagram, the starting vertex is assumed to be 1. So we always assume the starting vertex is at the level 1. So the vertexes that are adjacent to this vertex are assumed to be at the distance 2. So the adjacent vertex for the vertex 1 is 2 and 3. So 2 and 3 are assumed to be in the distance 2. Okay, so it is going, why is it called as level order traversal? So it will be visiting the vertexes in one particular level and then it will move to the next level. That is the reason it is called as level order traversal, or in other words, it will start with the arbitrary vertex and it is going to visit all the vertexes that are at distance 1 from the starting vertex. In the next step, it will be visiting all the vertexes that are at distance 2 from the starting vertex. So, and it will be continuing like this. Okay, so the data structure used for this BFS is Q. So the algorithm says we have to add the starting vertex. The starting vertex will be mentioned in the question, or we have to take the starting vertex as the ascending order vertex or the least alphabetical vertex. So repeat the next two steps until the queue is empty. So we are going to remove, so we know very well Q is a first in first out data structure which is having two ends, rear end and the front end. So rear end will be used for insertion and the front end will be used for the deletions. Okay, so they remove the vertex from the front end and include it to the traversal list. Okay, and in the next step we are going to add all the adjacent unvisited vertex of the removed vertex if it is not already present in the queue. So in BFS technique we don't insert duplicate elements into the queue. Okay, this removal order will tell us what is the BFS traversal for the graph. So let us apply this algorithm for this particular diagram. The starting vertex is assumed to be 1. Initially the queue will be empty. So we are adding the starting vertex 1. So now 1 is there in the queue now. Okay. So the element will be traversed only when we are removing it from the queue. So that's the reason initially it is null. So the queue is empty now. We are removing it because we have removed the element 1 from it. So 1 is traversed so far. Okay. So in the next step, we have to add all the adjacent unvisited vertex of the removed vertex. So 1 is removed now. The adjacent vertex of 1 is 2, 3 and 4. So they are added in the same order 2, 3 and 4. Rear pointer will be pointed to the last inserted element and front will be always pointing to the element to be deleted next. Okay. So add 2, 3, 4. So far we have we have visited only the vertex 1. So in the next step, we are going to remove the element from the queue. So the element pointed by the front will be removed. So 2 is removed. The remaining 2 elements are there in the queue. So now the front pointer is moved from the element 2 to 3 because 2 is removed. So now it is pointing to the element 3. So now the traversed list is 1 and 2. We have traversed the vertexes 1 and 2 so far. So in the next step, we have to add all the adjacent unvisited vertex of the removed vertex. So 2 is removed now. The adjacent unvisited vertex of 2 is 4 and 5. So we are not adding 4 because 4 is already there in the queue. So we are adding only 5. 4 is already present in the queue. So we are adding only 5. So the rear pointer is moved from the element 4 to 5. Okay. So we have visited only the elements 1 and 2. Okay. So in the next step, we are going to remove the element from the queue. So the element pointed by the front is removed, 3 is removed and 3 is added to the traversal. So 4 and 5 are remaining in the queue and the front pointer has moved from the element 3 to 4. Okay, the next step we are going to add the adjacent unvisited vertex of the removed vertex. So 3 is removed now. So adjacent unvisited vertex of 3 is only 6. So 6 is added to the queue. So the the rear pointer has moved from the element 5 to 6. So now rear is pointing to the element 6. So in the next step we are removing the queue. So the front is pointing to the element 4. So 4 is removed and it is added to the traversal list. So the next step we have to find out which are all the adjacent unvisited vertex of the vertex 4. So the adjacent vertex of 4 is 3, 6 and 7. But 3 is already visited and 6 is already present in the queue. So only 7 is added to this queue. See, I have mentioned here 3 is already visited, 6 is already present in the queue. So only 7 is inserted, moving the rear pointer to point to it. So in the next step, we are removing the element from the queue. So front was initially pointing to F. So now it is removed and it is added to the traversal list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. In the next step, we have to find out which are all the adjacent unvisited vertex of vertex 5. So for adjacent vertex of 5 is 4 and 7. So 4 is already visited and 7 is already present in the queue. So we are not adding anything. Okay. So in the next step, again, we are going to remove the vertex from the queue. So 6 is there in the front, so it is removed and it is added to the traversal. So now we have to find out which are all the adjacent vertex of 6. For 6, there is no adjacent vertex at all. See, remember, 6 is actually adjacent to 4, adjacent to 7, adjacent to 3, but there is no vertex adjacent to 6. Okay, so that's the reason we are removing the queue again. So the only one element is left out in the queue. So 7 is removed and it is added to the traversal. Similarly, for 7, there is only one adjacent vertex. 6 is there, but 6 is already visited. So 7 is again dead and the queue has become empty. So we are stopping the algorithm here as the queue has become empty. So the BFS traversal of this digraph is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.